Hello, welcome to a new video from Teaching Tactics with Mr. Kamal. In this video, we're going to talk about something very important in English grammar, which is how to form sentences in different tenses in English. For example, how to form a sentence in the simple past, or in the simple present, or in the past perfect, or in the present perfect. In this video, we're gonna deal with how to form sentences in different tenses in English, and we're gonna use only one subject, which is I, in all tenses, and one verb, which is run, in all tenses. But if you know how to form sentences in, for example, simple present with I and run, you can form many sentences with all subjects and with all verbs. For example, if I know how to form a sentence in a simple present with I and run, I'm gonna say I run. So if I want to replace the subject I with the subject, for example, they, and the verb write instead of the verb run, I'm gonna say they write. Okay. And also, my friends, I want to tell you something very, very important about the verb run, which is an irregular verb. And you know that the rule is for regular verbs, whenever you want to change any verb in the present to the past form or the past participle form that can be used in perfect tenses, you add ed. Okay? But for some irregular verbs, this rule cannot be applied. So these verbs must be studied. Like, for example, the verb run in a base form or in the first form, it is run. In a past form, it is ran. In a past participle form, it is run. So we can say run, ran, run. Okay? And many other irregular verbs, like, for example, think, thought, thought, write, wrote, written. Okay? Now, my friends, I'm going to talk about something very important also. For example, if I want to form a sentence in the simple past, some people may say that we call it past simple. By the way, if you say simple past or past simple, you're referring to the same tense with the same function, with the same structure, no difference. The only difference is that American people say simple past, on the other hand, British people say past simple. And also for progressive tenses that end in ing, in American English, it is progressive tenses, like, for example, present progressive. On the other hand, Brits or in British English, it is continuous tenses. So we can say present continuous or present progressive. We're referring to the same tense with the same function, with the same structure, and everything is the same. Now we're gonna start forming our sentences. For example, in the simple past, I'm gonna say I ran. So I use the subject and the past form of the verb or the second form of the verb. Okay? And in the simple present or present simple, I use the subject and the verb in the base form or in the present form. But with only one difference. With he, she, and it, we add to the verb ses or is or ies based on the last letters or last sounds in the verb. For example, I may say I run, but when I use he, I'm gonna say he runs. So I run without any s in the end, but if I use he, she, or it, I'm gonna add s, so it would be he runs, she runs, it runs. And my friends, in some verbs we can add es or ies also according to the final letters in the verb. In a future simple, we say I will run. So the structure is the subject and then will and then the base form of the verb. So I will run, he will run, she will run, they will run, and so on. We're gonna move now to the perfect tenses. Okay, so for the past perfect, the structure is the subject, then had, and then the past participle form of the verb. The past participle form of run is run, because it is, as we said, run in the present, ran in the past, and in the past participle form it is run. So the structure of the past perfect tense is the subject, and then had, and then the past participle form. So it is I had run, they had run, she had run, okay, and so on. For example, if you consider the verb write, so write, wrote, written. So written or written is the past participle form. So I'm gonna say I had written, or she had written, and so on. For the present perfect, the structure is the subject and then have or has based on the subject and then the past participle form. So for example, I have run. But for example, if the subject is he, it would be he has run. So with I, you, they, and we add have. On the other hand, with he, she, it, we use has. So I have, he has, she has, it has, they have, we have, and you have. Okay, and then the past participle form of the verb. For the future perfect tense, we use the structure, or the structure is, or the form is the subject and then will have, and then the past participle form. So for all perfect tenses, it is a must for you to use the past participle form of the verb. So for the future perfect, the structure is the subject and then will have, and then the past participle form, like I will have run. Now we're gonna move to the progressive tenses, or to the continuous tenses. For the past progressive, the structure is the subject and then was or were and then the verb plus ing. Okay, and there are some spelling rules. For example, in the verb run, because it consists of only one syllable and it ends with a consonant, and before the consonant we have a short vowel, so we're gonna double the last consonant before adding the ing. And there are some spelling rules that must be studied whenever you want to add ing to the end of any verb to form any of the progressive tenses. So for the past tense, the structure is the subject and then was or were and then the verb plus ing. With I, or with singular subjects, we use was, like I was, he was, she was, it was. But with they, we, and you, plural subjects, we add or we use were. So they were running. Okay, so the structure is subject and then was or were and then verb plus ing. For the present progressive, the structure is the subject and then based on the subject we may use a suitable form of verb to be, whether to be am, is, or are, and then the verb plus ing, like I am running. But with he, so with I we use am, but with he, she, it we use is. So he's running, she's running, it's running. Okay, but with they, we, and you, we use are. So they're running, you're running, and we're running. Okay, or we are running. And then, my friends, we're gonna move to the future progressive, or to the future continuous tense. The structure is the subject and then will be, then a verb plus ing, like I will be running, she will be running, they will be running, and so on. And then we're gonna move to the perfect progressive tenses. For the past perfect progressive, the structure is the subject and then had been, then a verb plus ing, like I had been running, she had been running, they had been running. Okay, and then for the present perfect progressive, the structure is the subject, then have been, then a verb plus ing, like I have been running. Okay, or she has been running. So again, with he, she, it, we're gonna add, or we're gonna use has, not have, but have can be used with I, they, we, and you. Okay, so with four pronouns we use have, and with three, which are he, she, it, we add or we use has. So I have been running, she has been running, it has been running, but they have been running. Now, finally, we're gonna talk about the future perfect progressive. The structure is the subject and then will have been, if then a verb plus ing, like I will have been running, they will have been running, we will have been running, and so on. My friends, if you want to master the structure of every single tense of these tenses, you can pause the video whenever I talk about the structure of these tenses, and then you can just write your own sentences by replacing the subject I with any of the other subjects, and replace also the verb run with any other verb, and you can master them all easily, inshallah. So I hope that the video is useful for you, and if you want to book for any of our courses for general English or for the SAT courses, you can just send messages to our WhatsApp number, and see you soon in a new video. This is Mr. Gamal, and thank you so much.